I'd like to ask a question, if I could, of the Encompass young lady. How much productivity was lost with the implementation on average of your multiple clinics, particularly with your very productive physicians who may delay their paperwork till later and are forced to do on-site paperwork and complete their documentation at the time of the office visit? Also, did you do the coding functions? Does your EHR force you to do the coding functions during the office visit, or can that be farmed out to ancillary personnel?
The way ours is set up, your billing, your coding is actually done at the end of your visit. Now, if you forget to do it, it is automatically transmitted to our coding department, and they will send you a little flag in the system that said you forgot to bill this patient, what would you like to charge? So it's automatically done when you sign off the document. You are allowed to take however long you need to sign off a document. If you end up with about 300 documents on your computer and you're getting behind from labs coming in, or you don't have your notes signed off, then our board, we've decided that we just freeze your patient visits for a day or so till you get caught up. And that sometimes has to happen. Doesn't happen very often, but it has happened if somebody has really gotten way behind. And some people are better at using electronics than others. But overall, everybody has been able to come along. I will tell you that those of us, you know, who were fairly productive, our productivity, I would say I used to see, you know, 24 to 25 a day, and right now I can see 22 a day, but I do have to take my computer home at night and finish up.
How about during implementation? In other words, was there we fear a slowdown during implementation of productivity, especially if we implement it clinic-wide. We fear that our clinic's going to slow down to the point that it affects our ability to function and stay independent.
It did slow us down.
How much? How much?
How
much and for how long? 10%, 20%?
Our first week, I saw 5 patients on 3 days. The second the Thursday and Friday, I was able to see 8. The second week, I was seeing between 10 and 15, and we started the second week in June, and by August, I was able to see about 18 a day. So I was still down about 6. Part of that was because we were still trying to pull data out of old charts and preload into the system. So you have to decide when you go into a new system, are you going to try to figure out how to put all your old data in there at the same time, or are you going to leave that on the shelf to start up where you are and eventually try to get there? But we chose to try to get our old charts and put data in. If we hadn't done that, we probably could have gone a little faster. But I would say it took, you know, by August I was seeing 18. I'm now seeing about 22 on a good day. Depends on the level of, you know, the patient. We have some patients that take more time. About 25, 24, 25.
I'm sorry, but people in the back probably couldn't hear. What was the question again?
Yeah, I asked her where she started from.
Where she?
We started with about 24 to 25 patients, or I did, and am around that 21, 22 mark. So, but I still also work a lot in the evenings, and on Friday nights I do what I call kill night. I try to get everything off my desktop that I can, so that I have Saturday and Sunday free, because that first 3 or 4 months that just wasn't the case.
Dr. Filbert?
We're kind of in a different kind of situation because we're dealing with residents. But I know, Julie, did we go 25%? They scheduled 25% less? Down by about a third for the first, how long? First 2 weeks. It wasn't enough. But I really think that from looking the way it was for at least working in a residency, that we are getting things done more efficiently now and seeing the same numbers or maybe a little more than we were before using electronic medical records. I think that's probably more unique to a residency than it is to a general private practice.
I was just going to add, we've been electronic for about 4 years now, and we're family practice. My doctors see mid-30s per day, and they're done at 5 o'clock when they leave. So there's hope. There's hope. They're more efficient. They're able to code better.
Okay, we have a question up here. Microphone coming. Right there. Right.
Sort of simple mechanics. Use tablets, use computers in every room. How many are using iPads?
I use, everybody in our office has a tablet. Some choose to use it just as a laptop. I use it as a tablet. So when I'm sitting there face to face with the patient, I've got a pen in my hand, it has handwriting recognition. I'm just clicking a few things in response to their answers, and if I need to flesh something out, I'm handwriting my note. And then when you click insert, it is typed into the record. And so the tablet systems with handwriting recognition is, I mean, it's like you're sitting there with a paper chart writing your notes in front of the patient.
We're using tablets like that. I use mine more as a laptop, but I think it also depends on what you're used to. I mean, you know, a lot of people that are more computer savvy, I mean, I have a laptop at home. I can get through that pretty quickly. So for me, you know, typing and clicking on a mouse is just as fast as writing. So I think it depends on how you want to go about doing it. I mean, if you're not a very good a person who can't type very well, you probably need some handwriting recognition software. If you're not that computer savvy, you probably need some handwriting recognition software. If you maneuver and can handle a computer fairly well, and you're used to using a mouse, then using a small little notepad laptop, I think you'll do just fine.
No iPad here. We've just got desktops in every room, but we've got them sitting on swing arms. So I usually stand and type.
Since I introduced my defect of having an essential tremor, I cannot use a pad. I have to use a mouse. I just absolutely can't. And if they would have to have really good handwriting evaluation to evaluate me. So, but I learned to type when I was in high school, and I can type at about 70. And so I can sit and talk to a patient, and fortunately, a computer doesn't make much noise when you type, and I can type and talk to the patient at the same time.
To comment on your iPad, during our search, we only found one vendor that had an iPad app that would actually function as a full EMR, and that wasn't their EMR, but they thought that was a neat tool. But everybody else will claim that you can use an iPad, or most of them probably will, if they can be web-based, but their functionality goes way down. So I'd be very careful about iPad opportunities, but, you know, because I would love it too. I use an iPad, but, yeah, right.
We use Dell laptop computers, and we have Dragon software for speech, so we don't handwrite anything. We do a lot of mouse clicking. We all carry a speech mic, and at the end of the visit, I try, while I'm in there, there's a little section in our EMR that says patient instructions, and there's a lot of that you can click, but also if you need to add like a verbal note, I just turn my mic on in front of the patient and say what I'm going to say and look at the patient and say, does this make sense to you? And we agree on that plan, and then you can also print a copy of that out of the EMR for them and give that to them. So it works well, and the last few things in your note that you might not remember later what you said is in there.